This is the story of a man who fought a battle of life and death for more than 400 days in the world's largest and most ruthless ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and made a world record. He returned alive after 14 months. But what happened after coming back was that he had to go to jail. There are four largest oceans in the world: the Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic. The largest ocean is the Pacific. It is so big that the whole land is 165 million square kilometers. And this ocean alone can cover 148 million square kilometers. There are only a few islands on this ocean which are very small, and some are such islands on which no human has been able to go to date. Now, if by mistake any person gets lost in the Pacific Ocean, then it is almost impossible to find him in the Pacific Ocean. The name of the man who lived for 14 months was Josh Salvador Alvarenga. This man had a small 7-foot boat on which one could not even lie straight, and this man lived on this boat for more than 400 days. He fought the cruelty of the sea and also made a world record that no other person has been able to break to date. Josh was only forced by his destiny to get stuck in this terrible problem. This story happened in the year of 2012. Josh was a 36-year-old experienced fisherman who lived in Costa Azul, a village in Mexico. On 17 November 2012, Josh and his friend went out fishing like every day in their 7-foot small boat. They could not go very far to catch fish because the boat was very small and had only one engine and one refrigerator, so both of them could catch only a few fish in 30 hours. They decided to return, and both of them set out. They were casting their net in the sea 120 kilometers away from the coast of Mexico, when suddenly they saw a dangerous storm coming towards them. To save time, they left the net there and drove the boat at full speed. They were only 20 kilometers away from the shore when suddenly the boat's engine broke down. They could see the shore as well as their village. The storm had left them far behind. They had a radio through which they sent their location to their boss and started waiting for the reply. Their luck was so bad that the radio's battery died before the reply, and now the contact of these two fishermen with the outside world had ended. He and his friend were still lost in this hobby when suddenly something happened that they could not imagine. They had no idea that the strong winds had started pushing them back towards the sea, and the shore that they were seeing was slowly going away from them. Their boss even formed a search party and searched for them daily, but it was too late because, as the days passed, it was becoming very difficult for Josh and his companion to survive. 5 days had passed since this accident happened, and the winds had pushed his boat 450 kilometers away from the shore. They had reached a place in the sea where there was only water in every direction. They knew that their boat was so small that it could not be spotted even from a distance. Neither did they have any plan with them, nor could they send signals by lighting a fire and using smoke. Josh and his companion were very angry that the chances of their survival were now less than 1%. The food and drink they had brought with them were already finished. So now, to fill his stomach, they started catching the birds that came and sat on his boat with his own hands, or he started catching the fishes around the boat and eating them raw. Drinking salty seawater can kill a person. That is why he started drinking rainwater by collecting it in plastic bottles floating in the sea. When it did not rain for many days, they used to catch fish and turtles to quench his thirst, and that too only when he was able to catch them. Days passed and then months passed. It is difficult for us to even imagine the mental torture that these two were going through. Finally, Josh's partner could not bear this torture, and on May 4th, he committed suicide. Now he did not have anyone to talk to even on this small boat, and he started living his life alone in this sea, roaming around. If you look at the map, now he was present at this part of the Pacific Ocean, and it was considered the most silent part of the world. Therefore, cargo ships were also passed from here very rarely. It had been more than 6 months since he left the shores of Mexico, and during this time, Josh had also lost his partner. Due to this, he had become very frustrated. One day, Josh saw a cargo ship passing by the distance. This was the first ship he was seeing in the last 6 months, and on seeing this sight, his hopes of survival started to rise again. He made all kinds of gestures towards the cargo ship, but unfortunately, the ships did not see this small boat, and soon his hopes of survival were dashed once again. When finally he gets a hope of saving his life, and that too is ignored and left, then how would it feel? After 11 months, Josh had traveled 8,000 kilometers with his small boat. His clothes were torn, and he had only one underwaist left to save himself from sunlight. Finally, that moment came when fate was kind to him. In January 2014, after 14 months, Josh saw coconuts in the water around him. He understood that some islands were near where coconuts were breaking from the trees and floating in the water. After some time, he started seeing an island. He was afraid that he might miss this island too. That is why he jumped into the water and reached the island on his own. In the last 14 months, Josh had set foot on land for the first time, and when he reached the island, he saw a small house where the locals were present. In the last 438 days, Josh had contact with another human for the first time. This island was a remote island of the Marshall Islands, which is called Eborn Atoll, and this island is the starting point of the Josh, which was his luck that he reached close to the island as small as a dot in the sea. Otherwise, if this island had ever been missed by Josh, then his next stop would have been in the Philippines, which is 5,000 kilometers away from the island. Now from there, he was sent back to his home, where another problem surrounded him as soon as he reached there. On reaching back, Josh published a book in the name of 438 Days, but a case was filed against him, accusing him of killing his partner, the same partner who committed suicide on your behalf. I hope you will like and share this video of Dark TV. See you in the next great video.